Morning everybody. So let us start our class today, and according to our schedule we will discuss variable assignments, data type and input output operations today. And before I start, so let me give you a reminder. Quiz 2 will be due by this weekend, and I have also extended quiz 1 for your second attempt, and your highest attempt, highest score will be accepted. Okay, but in order to take the quiz for today's class or maybe Friday's class lecture, we'll discuss. Yes. Yeah, I extended it yesterday, last night. This is about until you this weekend. Okay, but exceptional, but other quizzes will not be extended like this way. One I extended. Okay, remember, please follow the schedule. And please, start okay, to be prepared for the upcoming test 1. Test 1 will be on 12 or 13. That follows your schedule. It will not, test will not be different. Okay, start. We are at the middle of our first test. Okay, so if we go to our first year experience and resource page, then okay, so we will start module 2 today, and maybe we will finish it by Friday. And next week we will finish module 3, and your 1 will cover until module 3, up to module 3. Okay, so the module 2, if I download this slide, it is about variable assignment and data types. We discussed something in our previous lectures. We discussed something about variables and okay. In our previous lectures, I discussed something how to declare a variable. We will discuss more in depth in this lecture, and as you see, there are about 40 slides in our presentation tonight. Let me cover this quickly, and then if I have some time, then I will go to some live programs. So our goal is to know how to declare a variable and what happens when we declare a variable, and some common or primitive data types, and how to assign values to data types, or to assign values to variables. Okay, in our previous lecture we discussed program structure. What is the skeleton of a single or simple program? We discuss this in multiple languages, C#, Java, C++, and also in pseudocode mode. So that all programs contain a main method, that is the startup position of a program. And this is the comment statement. So sometimes if we need to explain something in our program that is not needed to be compiled, that is called comments. So we use, this is multi-line comments and this is single line comment. In order to disable a line or make a line comment out, we use at least 2 front slash at the beginning of the line, or use this is front slash star. This is the starting point of a comment and this is the ending point. So this is for multi-line. So identifier, an identifier is a name of a variable or a class or a method or something that we declare in our class, in our program. In most of the programming languages, there are some keywords, special words. These are the main words that help us to write our program. So these are, you see that all of the keywords are written in lower, except there are few exceptions. Okay, and each of these keywords have a special meaning and functionality. At this point, you do not know all of this, but maybe there are something you are familiar with. For instance, void. In our main method, we use void. Sometimes we use int, declare variable. By the end of, soon we will be familiar with all of these keywords. You do not need to memorize this, but you need to be familiar with this. All keywords are written in lower cases, but in C++ people who are taking C++, you see that there are some keywords, all of the keywords are almost in one letter, one character. Although even you see for each, this is on one word, but in C++, sometimes there is, you see, atomic commit, there is underscore. There are 2 words, those are separated with an underscore. This is exceptional in C++ only. In programming languages, white spaces are essential sometimes. All keywords needs a white space before and after. But the compiler compiles a program, it ignores the white space. But in order to write a program in meaningful way, we sometimes use white space. Okay, so we discussed in our last class about string. When we put something within double quote, this is called a string. Okay, the string has a lot of application and implementation in our programs, and we will discuss string in depth later. Okay, but if you have a single character, that is not a string, and if you put a single character within single quote, that is a character type. We will go through here soon. So we are familiar with this system.out.println. This is used in Java to put something on console. That means to display something on console. And here, actually, the system represents operating system. Okay, and out is the console screen data stream. Okay, and println is a function or method to put data to the console. At this point, you may not be clear of the terms, like for instance, data string, something, but for now, just remember that. You will know this in depth, learn about class and object. In Java, we use write line, and in C++, we use cout, and two backslash is called less than sign together. And endl, end line, it is like something, we say line here. This is endl, not number one. So for C++. So it is good that most of the modern programming languages like C++, C#, Java, Python, Kotlin, all of these modern programming languages can use the plus operator to concatenate two strings. As usually we know that the plus operator is used to add two numeric numbers. Okay, but earlier programming languages like C, C++ did not have this facility to use plus operator to add two string. At that time, it was really difficult. I learned programming languages with first with few basic, Fortran, then C plus C, C++. C and C++ did not have this facility to use plus operator to add this string. So at that time, it was really difficult. But now our life become easier that the plus operator has a lot of strength and power. So one thing is special for a string is that when you start a string, okay, when you use the plus operator to concatenate something, the starting point is a string. Then everything becomes a string. The result becomes string. If the first one is a string, then it becomes, everything becomes, the output becomes as a string. We will show you in a live program this. Same program in C++ and C# and Java. So these are the called escape sequences. There are some characters that do not display as is. Sometimes if you want to display a backslash, then in order to display backslash, you need to put that backslash with backslash. So you see that if you want to enclose something within double quote, we know that double quote is the ending point of a string. If you really need to display something with double quote, then you have to put that double quote with a leading backslash. So these are called backslash or escape sequences. Escapes means the first leading backslash escaped. Okay, this is ignored. So for B, backslash B is used for a blank space, and backslash T used for one tab to give some 8 space, 6 space gap. And backslash n is used for new line. So the combination of the backslash character makes our output different that we put a println method. For instance, here you see that in our println method we have a large string in one line, for instance, one string, but you will get our output in different. Sometime at the new line, sometime with some space, sometime with some some tabs. So in order to understand this, you have to practice. Write a program, copy from here or write something, type in something and print and do some practice. Then you will understand this. And for C++, C Sharp and Java, we use plus operator to concatenate strings, but in C++, we use cout and then double less than sign to concatenate string. For C Sharp people who are taking C Sharp lab, please give special attention to here. Okay, so let us review again variable. What is a variable? A variable is a name of a location in memory that is used to hold a data. Okay. In all programming languages, and in all programs, we use some data to work with some data. So in order to hold our data in our program, we have to use variable. Okay. So what happens when we declare a variable? For instance, if we declare a variable, for instance, this is our memory. This memory is RAM, random access memory. Okay, so each memory is separated with 1 byte. There are many bytes. Memory. Okay, memory space is separated with like something like this byte. So each of these cell is a byte. So in the computer system, each byte has its address. Okay, for instance, this byte is long address. For instance, 101. This byte has address 10, maybe 105. Something, for instance. Not in this way, it's in hexadecimal system, if you are familiar with. Then when we declare a variable, for instance, if I say int x equal to maybe 5, what happens? So when you declare a variable as integer type, it gives the name of the first byte as x. So this byte, this memory location will be named x. Okay. And when we assign value to this variable, this value is converted into binary number and stored in this memory location from here. So that like it will be 101, and all remaining spaces, these and these spaces will be filled out by 0. Okay, so as a human being, it is easier for us to locate for instance, a house. For instance, let us consider this memory location as a row house or an apartment. So in an apartment building, there are many apartments. Okay, so for instance, this one is 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 1010, sorry, 110, something like, for instance. and so on. So as a human being, so we, for instance, this is our room. For instance, this is our room 200. Let us consider this is our classroom. So we can look at this classroom two ways: by its name or its location, or at least two ways. Okay, but computer system, it is easier for computer system to locate this position or location or memory location by its address, but it is difficult for us to recognize this space by number. This is why sometimes we give name. For instance, if I have 100 or 1,000 friends or people I know, I cannot remember all of their phone numbers, right? So instead of remembering or memorizing their phone numbers, what do? We save their phone numbers in our contact list by their name or something we are familiar with. When we make a phone call, for instance, our phone call, actual call goes to the number, right? Not the name. Same thing. Okay? So, for instance, if I have this variable x, integer x, in this memory location can be identified in two ways: by its name or by its memory address. Okay, 105 for instance. Okay, but for human being, it is easier for us to remember this name x, y, z. But for computer system, it is easier for or electronic device to recognize this by address. Okay, so by declaring a variable, we make a collaboration or connection between this memory address and our identifiers. That means our variable. We use variable to identify this address quickly and easily so that we can remember. Okay, so this is the concept of declaring a variable, and this happens when we declare a variable. For now, just you need to remember this. Okay. So in order to declare a variable in pseudocode, sometimes you see that we use special word create. Create keys is a variable over here. Then we are assigning value 88. The arrow, left arrow means we are assigning value 88 to my variable keys over here. So in pseudocode, if you write your code in pseudocode format, then you will use this format, create. Use the keyword create to declare a variable. But in an actual programming language, we will use, for instance, key, and to assign a value to that. And in order to declare a variable in most of the programming languages, require that you need to type its type. You need to give its type. What kind of data this key, my variable will contain. If I am intended that my variable will contain a numeric data, it is a whole number, then we can put integer. There is also byte, short, and long. We will discuss this soon. Okay. So these are the initialization and declaration together. Okay. So in C# format, this is same thing. And in C++, it is same thing. Here, my int is a keyword. Okay. So now let us do the naming convention of a variable. So in order to give a name of a variable, our name should be meaningful and it should reflect the data that it will store. Okay, we can give any name to our variable, but not any name. See what I mean by any name, but not any name? For instance, if we have a baby, newborn baby, we can give any name, right? Not any name. That means we have some restriction based on our religion or our culture or our nationality. Give a name of a baby, right? If it is a boy baby, then we will give a boy name, male name in general. You can give a female name, but that will be weird. People do not like that, right? You don't do that usually. If you have a baby girl, you should give a female name, right? So depending on our culture, maybe there is nothing legal problem, but we do not do that way, right? So for giving a name of our variable, we should follow similar rules. For instance, if we want to hold maximum value from a data set, you should give a good name, for instance, max value that reflect your data. You can put like minimum value in our variable that you declared as max, by name max, but we should not do that. Okay? We should follow our regular convention. And all names must be in single word. Sometimes if we use double word or multiple word, we use in naming convention that is called Camel Case or something. Books and professors are seen in most, especially in team and company, they follow some rules, convention to give a name. For instance, if it's a total, most programming languages use a variable starting with a lowercase letter. It is okay that if you give an uppercase, but this is a exception to a convention. So you have to, in order to write a good program, you should follow the convention, naming convention of your team or of your company. For instance, most of the companies, they use Camel Case. It's called, for instance, if I want to do it as subtotal, so SUB, most of the companies or books you will see, they use this is called Camel Case. The first letter is lower, second one for the starting letter of the next word is written in uppercase. It is easily you can recognize that this is a two letters, two words. Okay, sometimes you can use like this underscore total. This also means some companies they follow this rule. Whatever your company follow, you have to follow that tradition. Okay? But it is not allowed to use minus sign. Dash. So in programming, dash is considered as a minus sign. Okay, so you cannot use dash. Remember this. But if you say subtotal like this will be actually okay. But sometimes it will be. Okay, so this is a pseudocode in this is also Java program, and this is a C sharp, and this is same thing in C++. I like everybody to copy code and practice in either is repl.it or in your favorite IDE. So anyone here has any issue with programming on repl.it or creating an address or an account? Everybody has an account on repl.it? And if you need help, please see me during my office hour. And you know that there is a tutoring center here, right? They can help us, and you know We have our TS and other professors, they will be waiting for you to help. Yes. We are going there. We're going there. So let us. We have a few more slides. Then we will go discuss. Sometimes is constant. We use a constant that is a value that is not changed during the program lifetime. As in our data, there are some values that are also constant and that do not change during our lifetime. For instance, our mother name, mother middle name, our father name, social security number. These are already almost fixed, right? Then if we know that this value will not be changed during this our program, in our program frequently or anywhere, then we declare that values against constant. So a constant is declared more likely as a variable, but with something different. You see, in Java we use final keyword. So it's a final double this tax underscore rate equal to 0.05. That means 5% interest rate. Okay, so that if we give rid of this final keyword, not a constant, then it is a variable. So by final, we means this is final, and during my program time, it cannot be changed. While my program is running, we cannot change it. Okay. And in C#, we use what is that? This constant keyword to declare a constant. And in C++, people who are taking C++ lab, please give special attention here. So we will use hash sign, then define, and then the constant name, and we put the value. We see that we do not use any equal sign here for C++. So the naming convention of a constant is that a constant is declared with all letters in uppercase. This is the naming convention. When you say that everything is something is defined or used all in uppercase, then you guess that this is a constant. All constants are defined used at the top or beginning of a method. The top of a method. Okay, now the last thing and most important thing we will cover here is the data type. That someone asked me a question a few minutes ago. We will cover data type over here. Data type is an important topic. We need to focus on. Okay. Based on our data in hand that we will be working with, okay, we have to declare appropriate variable with appropriate data type. Okay, there are some 8 over here, primitive, they are called simple data type or primitive data type. So I will sometimes we call built-in data type. That most of the languages follow. Okay, so there are 8 primitive simple data types. These are called called built-in data types. Okay, these 8, let us discuss these 8 simple data types. The first 4, byte, int, short, and long, all of these 4 are used for holding integer data. That means a numeric data that is whole number. It can be positive or can be negative. I would like to keep byte, short, and then int. byte short, int long. Okay, you see the byte short, int long, all of these four types are used for integer data. Okay, but what are the difference between these four? The difference is minor. When you declare a variable as byte, it takes only one byte memory space. Okay, whenever we declare a variable as short, it takes 2 byte memory space. When you declare a variable as int, it takes 4 byte, and whenever you declare a variable as long, it takes 8 byte. Okay, so based on my data, I should declare my variable either one of this type if I want to work with. For instance, okay, if I want to stay in a hotel, stay in a hotel room for one night or multiple nights. For instance, if I am alone, how many rooms I should book in? Yeah, you can volunteer with me. How many rooms? If you want to stay in a hotel room, how many rooms you will book in? Yeah, usually one, right? If I am alone, then I will book in one room. This is the more convenient and okay. But definitely it is my money. It is your money, you will do that. But if it is someone else's money, still we will use one, we'll book one room, right? Okay, so for instance, if your room is, if you declare your room as a byte, one byte for you, one room for you. Okay, same thing if you declare as variable as short, it will take 2 consecutive memory bytes. If you say int, then it will take 4 consecutive memory bytes. And if you say double long, then it will take 8 consecutive memory bytes. So if you know that, okay, you will be using a small data, small number, maximum 100, okay, or maximum 127. Then you can use your byte, okay. And byte text takes negative, it has range negative 128 until 0 to 100 positive 127. There are range for each data type. Okay, I will share a slide with range next class. Okay, so your maximum, if your maximum value goes 100 up to 127, then you can use byte. And for short, you can use 2 byte. It will be used 2 bytes. For integer, it will use 4 byte, and long it will use 8 byte. So in order to declare especially a database, for instance, if you work with a long program, for instance, if we want to hold, if we want to keep record of every people, every person in the USA, in the world, so then we should really be careful about our data type for each of the field or variable, right? Otherwise, we will misuse some data. Okay. For instance, if we want to hold gender, that may take male or female, one character. For instance, male, and then an integer byte type should be fine. One byte should be fine, right? But if I use integer type to hold a very small number, then other will be misused. So, but for the short programs, we will be discussing in our lecture and classes, and also in book, you will see that we frequently use integer type, because we do not care about this data, because these programs are very small. We don't care about. But in order to define a good program, we should be careful about these types. Yes. Yeah, why does it matter? Because if you want to work with a large data set, so if you have only short numbers, okay, 0101, something small number, do you want to misuse other bytes? If you use memory space, for instance, then your program will be slow. For instance, I was giving an example that if you want to stay in a hotel room, how many rooms you need to take? Usually one room, right? Okay, if you book 4 rooms, but you can stay in one room, one bed at a time, right? The other 3 rooms will be misused. You have to pay for the 4 rooms, other 3 rooms, right? This is what. Yeah, you are wasting. So you are wasting our memory space. So in order to, for small program, it is not a matter. For large program, you should be careful. Yes, 8 for long. Yes. Okay, so the byte, short, int, and long are used for holding full numbers. And if your number is numeric but that has decimal point in it, then we use double and float type. Float type, it takes 4 bytes memory space, and for double it takes 8 bytes. 8 bytes, okay? So for instance, if we want to work with very large number or very small number, then we use long or double type. For instance, if we want to find how long a light ray goes in 100 year, very long area, right? Or what is the weight of an atom or an electron? Okay, very small number. In those cases, we will use the short, long, or double type. Otherwise, in general, we will use integer, short, and float, or like this type. Okay, so we cover 4 plus 2 6, and there is another data type that is called character, to hold only one single character. For instance, if we want to denote true by T, false by F, male by M, female by F, then we can use character type. And there is another type is called Boolean, that is used to hold either only true or false value, nothing else. Boolean we used for true and false value. And except these or simple data types, all other data types, we will see later that we can create our own data type. That is called class. And by the end of this course, the second or third last quarter, we will know how to create our own data type with the combination of or 2 or more of these data types. That is called a class. Like a string, also a class. Okay, although string is a type that was more likely as a simple data type, but string is not a type. So how many data types we are familiar with here? 8, right? Okay. And later we will know how to create our own data types. So why do we need too many data types? Because we work with many kinds of data, right? Some of data are true or false, some of data are numeric, some of our data are decimal with decimal points, some of them are very large, small, some of them are alphanumeric. So there are 2 kinds of typing, static or dynamic typing. So most of the legacy programming languages are static typing, static type. That means in order to declare a variable, you have to declare its type first. Okay, but there are some new programming languages like Python that allows you to declare a variable without its type. The first time when you assign a value to that variable, according to the value, it works most of the time. Nine is type automatically. Those are called dynamic type. Yes. We have how many minutes we have left? 1 minute. Give me 1 minute here. You see that here these are the some examples of variables. And for instance, let me give you focus on two things here. For fluid type, we have to give an if at the end. Assigning, okay. Remember that for fluid type, and for long we have to give a L. Okay. And we use character data types to hold only one single character. Okay, we will use boolean for hold either true or false type. Okay, that's it for now. And before, so by this weekend you will have 2 quizzes due. Quiz 2, and I have also extended quiz 1 for 1 week, one more attempt. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes.
So I noticed that the test on the 12th of the
just need to know the syntax.
I'll learn to code at 41 minutes. Familiar with other languages, but the expert would master more languages that you're taking in this. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
When we're doing the homework in studio code, is it necessary to declare like the very